In this video, we are going to talk about effects in Traktor Pro. So first thing, to enable effects panel to be visible up at the top, you have to go to the settings, to the global settings, and then click on this button called show global section checkbox. And this is going to show both effect panels, and make sure that effect 1 and effect 2 are selected. Close out of this. So Traktor offers a lot of effects, and you can apply up to 3 or 6 effects per deck depending on how you have it configured, and that's at one time. So it's really powerful, but most of the time you probably wouldn't be applying so many effects to one deck because it's going to be hard to control what sound comes out of it. So let's focus on deck A for now, and if you click on the FX, it's going to bring up the effect panel right here. So this right here represents something called the group effect, and the reason why it's called the group effect is because you have 3 effects. You can have up to 3 effects in this panel, and you can enable and disable each effect how you like. So for example, in this first drop down, we have selected the flanger flux effect, and this is this effect right here, and you control how much of effect you apply by turning this knob, and you have to have effect enabled in order to be able to use it. In the middle slot there is currently no effect, and that's why it's grayed out and there is nothing in it. In the third slot there is the phaser pulse effect that can also be enabled just like the flanger flux effect by clicking the on button. So to control how much of the effect of the total effect goes into the sound, there is this knob right here called the dry and wet knob. The dry and wet knob basically stands, the dry stands for how much of the unaffected signal do you want, basically how much of the effect signal do you want to go into your main output. So if it's 100% wet, that means 100% of your effect strength is going to go into your main output. If it's dry, or basically it's not wet, then no effect signal is going to go into your output, even if you have this effects enabled and the deck is playing. And I will demonstrate how this works. So another important point to make in regards to effects is that for each deck you have a couple of effect units. You have one effect unit, which is this one right here, and you have two and second effect unit, which is this one right here. You can enable up to 2 effects units per deck, and you can have up to 3 effects selected in each effect unit, which brings me back to the point that I mentioned earlier in the video, where you can have up to 6 effects per deck, if assuming you have 3 effects in each effect unit and both of them are enabled. But like I've said, it's going to be hard to control the output because there's going to be so much effects applied. So I'm going to disable the second effects unit for deck A, but it's going to be enabled for deck B. So when you play deck B, all the effects that are in second effects unit are going to be applied to deck B when it's playing. So let's demonstrate how to use these effects right here. So let's play deck A, and deck A is currently playing, and what we are going to do is we are going to enable the flanger, and you can hear it. Or disable it by clicking the off button. And if I make the signal completely dry, there is no effect, even though this is turned on and I can control it. Let me enable a second effect. Actually, let me enable both effects. And you can hear it. Phaser pulse. You can hear the sound changing. I'm going to stop this. So this multiple effects, or the group effect, allows you to have up to 3 effects which you can control and quickly apply to your mix. Now if you click on this one button, on this one drop down, and you can also make this a single effect. So what this does is it basically lets you apply only one effect to your track, but it gives you more options in terms of what aspects of that single effect you can control. So in the case of flanger flux, where before we were able to control the cumulative settings in it with the turn of a knob, here you can control. This gives you 2 knobs and gives you 2 settings which you can control for this particular effect, mainly the feedback amount as well as the pitch. Now it also gives you an option to reset to defaults when you click the RST button right here. So let's just see how this works right here. Make sure the dry wet is on. And you can hear the feedback going in. And you can hear the other setting going in as well. So this is basically how to use effects in Traktor.